Might have to give it a couple minutes to load. So be prepared for ugly textures. There we go.
Power of Karsus would be in my hands.
I was like, it did not load back up in the conversation the way I thought it would.
But what then? What would I do with it once I have it?
This is where we stopped. Honestly, at least, like, my textures look good. Gale's didn't for a bit there. I'm a big fan of this one.
Sage and timely counsel as always. And I intend to heed it. A wise man learns from his mistakes and strives not to repeat them. I shall bring the crown to Mystra. She'll cure me of my affliction. And I'll finally be free.
Hell yeah.
And a more deserving one this time around. If this adventure has taught me anything, it's that there are things in this world far more valuable than power. Besides, grown quite fond of this merry band of ours, but I'd quite like to see what happens to it. I'm sure Mystra will summon me soon enough, but until then, I propose we celebrate our victory the mortal way, with a drink in our hands and reckless abandon in our hearts.
Who wins the bet? Wizards are not entirely boring. Well, my friend, what do you say?
I like both of these. But I think Ryder's picking one.
Let's not forget the wine. I want to flush out my brain just to be completely sure the tadpole's gone.
I honestly don't mind what we do once we get to the... Ow! What the... Oh, no. Oh, God.
Ooh.
Well, it was nice when it lasted. Ah! I'm sorry. I have to go.
Astarion! Cured of one affliction only to be reclaimed by another. The sun is no longer a friend to him, but we must be. He'll need more solace than shadows can provide.
We did it, soldier. The city's going to be all right. And so are you. Engine's finally cooked. Held on just long enough. So, how'd I do? So are you. My friend. My companion. I adore you. Careful! Hot! I never gave up. I did my best. I did my best. I thought thing I can't beat, isn't it? I wanted to live in my city with my friends. But life is for the living. And I saw... Goodbye, son. Goodbye, sea. Goodbye.
No, stop. I won't allow this. Karlak, you're coming with me. Back to Avernus. We can't let her die. Not like this. Not now.
You can't.
I think it's got to be one. It seems like she's already made her decision, so I don't trust her to make the right decision. Which is as awful as it is, like, give yourself a chance, give time. Like, yes, going there to survive isn't ideal, but survival means opportunities for change to still happen.
So, what do you say? Die here now, or live on with the blade of Avernus at your side. Zariel won't touch you. I swear it, Karlak.
Fine. I'll go. Well, with you. But we have to go. Now. I can't hang on much longer.
It's over. And it's all because of you. You, who were destined to become a thrall. Thanks to you, there will be no Illithid empire, no death god's tyranny. You have earned your place amongst the legends of the Sword Coast.
Yeah, for sure they could.
You
The House
are
of Hope would be a great spot to
saviors of
at least
Baldur's
start things off.
Gate.
Last night was perfect. Though I couldn't help lying there thinking about my parents before you stirred. I gave them the release they asked for, freed myself from Shah's grasp just as they wished for. But there's moments where I think I'd trade that to be able to see them again. Talk to them again. There's so much only they could have told me. But that's all gone now. I've got to move on. Find some place for myself. I think so. Yes. It's just up to me to recognize it when it's in front of me. I don't know exactly what lies ahead for me. But at least now I can choose my own path. With you at my side, if you wish.
I actually think there's a strong reason to pick this one. I think this is true as well in this instance. But this is also true. I think it would be good for her, you know, coming off of basically living without any strong memories or attachments because of her upbringing under Shar is like, you're not much of an individual person, which is kind of the goal of Shar, but like you don't have much. So I like this answer because it's not a no, it's a take the time that you need, because you really haven't taken it since everything happened. Since you've had a whole, like, conversion from what you knew. Oh. Okay. Can we try again? Alright, fair enough.
Perhaps that's wise. I'm still figuring out who I am. Unfair to ask you to commit to an unknown quantity. But after I've found some inner peace, who knows? I'll keep myself easy to find, if you wish to track me down. It could be just like old times. Well, hopefully not exactly like old times. I think I've had enough camping and mortal peril for one lifetime.
He's such a dork.
Well, soldier, here we are. It worked. My engines calmed down. I shouldn't have let you come here. This isn't going to be easy, you know. Zariel's going to come at us with everything she's got. Gods, like clockwork. They'll be on us soon, but there's just enough time. Thought I was done with these. But then, there was the Blade of Avernus. Imps are fast, but careless. Don't let them tire you out, just get rid of them. And don't forget, you asked for this. Better let these fuckers know I'm back. And this time, I'm not alone.
That's definitely the rapier I had equipped on Will. Why has she just got a busted-ass looking regular axe? Where the hell is Baldur's greatsword? I sent you in there with good shit, Karlach.
Since the Netherbrain fell, you and Shadowheart have seen more of Faerun than you ever thought possible. She no longer shies from wolves or water. Nothing in the world frightens her anymore. And you feel you could face anything by her side. One day, you receive a letter passed to you by a stranger who bows with deference. An invitation to a gathering of the friends and allies who stood by your side in the fight against the Absolute. You waste no time in packing and set off on the long road back to where all of your adventures together began.
Astral projection, Lae'zel.
Thou wert called here, some from above, some below. For with thine bond, together thou hast kept the wheel of fate spinning when it threatened to halt. Though thou wert drawn far apart in the months after the collapse of the Absolute, tonight, fate renews thy bond once more.
Where the fuck is Halsin
Thou
at?
shouldst take care to preserve it. It is a great weapon, wielded in the hand of good. Go,
And Gale.
know one another once more.
My inventory.
Now there's a ditty worthy of a knee slap. I must be careful to not overindulge tonight. Last night I lost control and slipped into bear form.
I'm glad for it.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
This.
Now there's a face I know well indeed.
Okay, Gale is here. I don't know who the fuck that is.
Ah, my dear friend, it's been an age, has it not? You're looking very well indeed. Our skeletal friend will be very pleased to see I found my way here, despite my invitation getting lost in the post.
You weren't invited, Volo. You fucking dork. I'll hit him with this, just for Chayla. It's wonderful to see you again, Volo. How have you been?
Busy as ever. Better that than the reverse, wouldn't you say? Every major publishing house on the Sword Coast has been vying for my upcoming book on the subject of our adventures together. I've gotten quite good at replicating your signature, so you needn't even bother with the release form. You might help me with the title, though. I'm considering The Hero and Me. What do you think?
It's a terrible title.
Oh, terribly sorry, but you mistake me, my friend. I'm only accepting complimentary feedback at this time. Perhaps, once the manuscript is finished, you'd even be willing to write a foreword? Or better yet, I'll write a draft and you could just sign your name. Better still, I'll sign it for you. Ah, your success really has been wonderful for
He's
my
so
reputation.
funny.
But you mustn't let me hog your attention all night, my friend. You've many friends to chat to, and I'd love to listen in.
He's so funny.
Revelry and community on the eve of revolution. Magnificent.
Seems like a good
He looks coyly at the ground, suddenly shy. He snaps the air and wiggles. He's either miming fighting a many-limbed creature or dancing. It's unclear.
Why not
He
both?
is, however, exhausted. He's had plenty of adventures without you. The joy in the owlbear's eyes is clear. He longs for a home and would love to stay with Shadowheart.
I didn't expect to be nervous. But seeing everyone here like this, it's strange, isn't it? I feel like I must have dreamed the last few months. Now I'm waking up back in camp with my hair smelling like wood smoke and fallen leaves stuck to my backside. Save it for when we're alone. Anyway, I know it's real. I know we made it. I just wish I could go back in time and reassure the old me that it would all work out. But enough introspection. This is a party. So, we should divvy up what we tell people about what we've been doing these past few months. I'd hate to be a bore that comes along and regurgitates the same story to someone moments after you've told them. Any ideas? Well, there's the visit to the House of the Moon, fending off Sharan assassins. That stray imp that joined us. Bing Bong, wasn't it? We've squeezed in a lot. And I'm glad I got to share it all with you. I'm sure we'll have them hanging off our every word. I'll leave you to do some mingling, unless you need anything else. Forgetting something?
I want to meet Bing Bong, just saying. Why did we have to miss out on Bing Bong?
That's more like it. Don't get into trouble, but if you must, fetch me first.
Another step forward.
There's something strange in your old friend's mouth. What is it?
In joke from when they did a live D&D, you think? That's neat.
A familiar invitation. He wants you to throw the object he's dropped. But it isn't a ball. It's the astral prism. Scratch barks merrily in something like agreement. He whines. Less talk, more throw.
I'll throw it. Why can't I throw it?
Withers has a keen eye for a nice vintage. Why were we scrounging in barrels and crates for supplies when he could source these? God, I remember one evening when we had to eat 14 apples, some fish heads, and a stale loaf of bread just to get by.
Ah, there you are. Well, well. Look what the Tressim dragged in. Professor Gale Decarius of Blackstaff Academy. Educator of the esteemed School of Illusion. A pleasure to remake your acquaintance.
Interesting. So he's back in Waterdeep. Why illusion, though? Why not just make this whatever... It doesn't matter.
She did not. I'm delighted to report. I surrendered the crown of Carsus to her, as I told you I would. And in return, she cured me of the orb at last. Even now, I struggle to put the feelings into words. It was like exhaling for the first time after holding my breath for so very long. Of course, I haven't clarified with my students that the orb is no longer a threat. The legend of my explosive capabilities is an excellent means of controlling a classroom. Too good, if anything. I spend most of my time trying to convince them how much fun the study of magic can be. But it'd be easier to crack a smile on an intellect devourer than some of my pupils. Illusory magic has the power to confound the senses, to render the impossible into reality, and to allow expression of that most magical attribute of all, imagination. Unfortunately, in that respect, some of my apprentices seem to be rather lazy. Oh, they try their best, of course, and they can manage to stay awake. And what of you? What are you making of this newfound lease of life we earned? From you, I'd expect nothing less. I've told my students plenty of tales about our escapades. You're something of a hero to them, you know? I'd be delighted to introduce you to my current cohort as a guest lecturer, perhaps. I'm sure they'd have plenty of questions for you.
The art of unarmed combat.
Well, I, for one, can't wait. And I say with some confidence, neither can they. Of course, you'll be most welcome to stay with me in my tower. It will give us plenty of time to catch up on your adventures. I'm very curious to know what you've been up to these past months. But I suspect the telling of that tale would keep you tied to me all evening. So, in the spirit of selflessness, I encourage you to mix and mingle for now, with time enough to come.
Withers has a keen eye for a nice vintage. Why Why were we scrounging in barrels and crates for supplies when he could source these? God,
For 2 months I trained the Knights of the Comet. For 2 more I skewered Kithraki bellies. And for 2 more yet, I traveled through Limbo. I never imagined we'd be standing toe-to-toe on this day, in this place. Nothing but allies, I always told myself. A necessary partnership. But in spite of every strained word, every barbed glance, seeing you brings me even more pleasure than taking a Royal Inquisitor's head.
I'm gonna hit her with this. It's pretty funny.
A bit. It's taken a dozen Gish's talents, a few stolen psi crystals, and 2 10 days of effort to conjure my projection. Worth it, I'd say. I miss this place. This... Fey Run. Shractalor. I wouldn't expect you to. The capital city of the Githzerai, an exiled people, once kin with mine, until the madness of civil war ripped our one sky into 2. Our Gish sent word of the rebellion to their god king Zareth Minyaragith through the cosmos. He's agreed to parley. It's fallen to me to secure an alliance. Sometimes. But I don't need the Githzerai to fight for us. Just with us. Minyaragith is an ascetic. He reached out in good faith. This is his way. It is in this spirit that I must meet him. He is also a near deity. Should the Githzerai join us, we could topple the City of Death in a red dragon's blink. Should they refuse, I carry on. Gravity pulls me in but one direction. I am a warrior of the Comet. I will not rest until I burn Vlaakith's bones to ash and smash her phylactery to pieces. My people will be free. But you've heard that refrain before. Zealous, bossy, insistent. All part and parcel of my undeniable charm. Soon, when the comet has risen, when the Lich Queen has crumbled to dust, I miss this place. More to the point, I miss you. I wouldn't even deny it with Vlaakith's vorpal blade at my neck. Though, I'd rather it not come to that. Now go, mingle a bit. That's the word, right? Mingle. I'll be back one day. The Overgod himself couldn't keep me away.
Holy. Holy. Whoa. That's crazy. They have everything.
Oh, right. You. Hello. Something caught in your throat, dear? Anyway, I hear congratulations are in order. You helped Mr. Dakarios save Baldur's Gate from the Absolute, isn't that right? Well done. despite my old friend's genius. He'd have blown himself up long ago if not for the help of friends like you and I. You ought to come visit myself and Gale when you're able, if you can extract yourself from what I'm sure are very important responsibilities. We'll send word by pigeon when we've need of you. I used to have a taste for them, but a great many things have changed in recent months. Ta-ta, darling.
Good thing I didn't decide to go to Arm yet. No way I would have made it back in time.
I'll give it a shot.
So you made it! Now it really is a party.
1 second, Asterion. Criminals consolidate guild uses rebuilding efforts to expand power. Absolute emergency over. Declares Fist. Last illithids routed from sewers. Baldur's Mouth editor resigns. Links to Gortash regime unfounded.
Just be rocks, grass, and dirt.
Black market, black magic. Devil's fee goods still unaccounted for. That's my fault. Shress's raconteur Raphael reported dead. Selenite outpost decimated by unknown assailant, now protected by the sword of Seluna. Dame Aelin. Head banker deposed at counting house. Oh, where'd he go? Asterion.
Well, look who decided to turn up.
Could say the same about you.
I wasn't sure our withered old friend could live up to his promise. But here we are. And you're looking more delicious than ever, if you don't mind me saying. Whatever you've been doing with your time, it clearly worked wonders. Of course. I'd be disappointed with anything less. You always brought a wonderful sense of fun to the world. And where better to celebrate our good fortune? An old haunt with old friends. I've taken a turn as an adventurer and hero. It turns out no one actually cares about murder, as long as you murder the right people. And apparently I'm rather good at it. Yes, but you say all sorts of things. Honestly, I don't even listen half the time.
Great.
It has made for a nice change, though. Inspiring hope in people instead of terror. Well, I do try to inspire a little terror. I'm still me, after all. Hardly. Good people don't spend as much time lurking in the dark as I do. You know, it's funny. At first, I thought I was trapped by the shadows, cursed to live in them forever. But in time, I realized that darkness is as much a part of me as my fangs. This is only a curse as long as I refuse to embrace the shadows. So, I decided I would. I decided not to be defined by the choices other people made, by what other people did to me. My past may be done, but my present, my future, they're mine. This is who I am, in all my glory, for better and for worse. That being said, I haven't completely given up on returning to the sun. If the opportunity presented itself, well, I wouldn't say no. But until then, I am happy. We've had quite the journey, you and I. From the moment I first threatened you, I knew you were someone special. someone to take on the world with. I will miss our time together. But then again, maybe this isn't goodbye. So much as it's, see you later, darling.
He still has that Tharkiot vigor somehow. Hmm. Maybe that's permanent. Oh.
Nice to
Forgotten
return to
Troubadour?
familiar environs.
Hold on.
There
How's
you
him?
are. You would think someone of my vintage would be inured to the passage of time. Yet these past 6 months have seemed endless without your company. But now, our paths cross once more. We have all pined for each other's company, I sense. I cannot imagine otherwise after what we shared. That bond was forged in a crucible that can never be stoked again, Oak Father willing. It is a bond that can weather any distance, any passage of time. I know it can, for I feel the longing for old friends in my heart each day.
As long as this is a bro hug game.
I always do. Should I ever decline, assume a doppelganger has taken my place.
Bro hug, bro hug, bro hug.
That was more than worth the wait. Rest assured, my arms shall be ready. Now, we have much to catch up on. Do not allow me to ramble on. I am eager to hear all you've been doing. In that case, very well. Our community grows rapidly. In 6 months, we have turned what was once a shadowy wasteland into a true home for all. In another 6 months, I would wager the scars of the past will be entirely invisible, even to those who remember them. The old masonry of Moonrise Towers and Rythwin have been repurposed into new homes, and the land is rich with harvests and bountiful trees. Nature and civilization are in harmony, stronger together. In a manner of speaking, yes. Though it is a more complex, evolving beast than I could ever have anticipated. True balance is no simple, fixed thing. I see that now. We welcome folk from all walks of life. Anyone who wishes for a new start. Naturally, it can be chaotic at times, but it is a thrilling sort of chaos. It thrives in ways I could never have dreamed of. As am I. I may age more slowly than most, but I do believe I've gained some new laughter lines of late. Now, please, tell me all, and spare no details. I shall not lie. I have an ulterior motive in wishing to hear all. It is the children, you see. My charges. Their appetite for bedtime tales is greater than I could ever have anticipated. Another story, Daddy Halsin. Another is the chorus that greets me each nightfall. They have all but exhausted my repertoire in but a few short months. No mean feat given the lifetime I have lived. I desperately need new material, please. My reputation is at stake. I am all ears. Though I never cared for that phrase. A rather unsettling image.
True. What is the difference between these two?
You have kept yourself busy. I expected no less, in truth. I shall be able to keep the children enthralled for a few more nights yet, thanks to you. And should you wish to retell of your exploits in person, well, I shall not object to a night off. Now, it would be cruel of me to hoard you all to myself for the evening, as much as I would like to. I shall leave you to the others for now, unless there was anything else. Quite often. They come and go as they please, but with so many playmates to avail of, they are far from strangers. They ask after you often. What you did for them will never be forgotten. I can see it in the land all around me, but more importantly, I see it in their faces whenever they visit. To make a child smile is to dabble with the power of gods, as far as I'm concerned. On occasion, but I prefer not to interfere. Francesca of the High Forest is Archdruid now, and by all accounts, she has proven to be a steady and wise influence. Even Korga may yet find true balance, thanks to her influence. As did I, but somehow I feel like I no longer need to roam. That I have found something worthy laying roots for. Amazing what can be discovered about oneself, even at a ripe old age. Before you go, I have something for you. Just a little keepsake, really. Do you remember how I told you I like to whittle? I made this. Ducks are my favorite, but I thought they were particularly fitting in this case. They are migratory birds, of course, traveling far and wide with the turn of the seasons. Yet, they always find their way back to where they belong. Just like old friends find themselves back in each other's company. Just a token to remember me by. Now, I've taken up enough of your time. Go on. Enjoy the festivities. We can speak again later.
Duck.
I must be careful to not overindulge tonight, lest I lose control and slip into bear form.
There you are, my friend. Breathe deep. Can you smell it?
Oh no, I'm bad at these. I'm too dumb. Oh, a 10? We could hit a 10. I ain't got nothing, bud.
Take a deep breath. But you don't notice anything beyond the ordinary.
Shrug.
You don't know what you're missing. The sweetness of honeysuckle. The earthiness of splitting oak. A far cry from the rancid Avernus heat that's been clogging my lungs. I swear, Karlach and I have felled enough cambions to build a fortress with their horns. Who'd have thought that just one of those fiends held the key to escaping Avernus for good? One of them sported a map and some blueprints. If you want all the gory details, Karlach can fill you in. I've missed you too. The rush of battles we fought, the heart-to-hearts, the nights around the fire, the comfort of knowing I didn't face the unknown alone. If I had to do it all over again, and I'd rather not, to be clear, I can't imagine not having you at my side. I think the splinters I made out of the last bone devil I saw speak for themselves. Not to pat myself too hard on the back, but I'm not such a bad ranger if I do say so myself.
But Eldritch Blast!
I've seen him more than a few times, and he's as proud of me as I am of him. He's leading the city's renewal, opened the gates to all newcomers, rebuilt the council from scratch. And he's back in his element, commanding the Flaming Fist with brave heart and no shortage of empathy. The likes of Gortash can bend people's minds with a few chosen words. No tadpole needed. Bane's Chosen primed the Fist for a war they weren't meant to win. He convinced them there was an assassin hiding in every shadow, that cruelty was the correct answer to crisis. With a few exceptions, fathers pardoned every last fist. If my forgiveness not be Tyr's will, so be it. I shall forgive them all the same. His words, not mine. He still believes in the bow and the blade, but with Floric's help, he's teaching the Fist a new lesson. Valor is found not in the wounds you inflict, but in the lives that you have bettered. May they all take it to heart.
Nice.
Well, that's enough hell talk for the moment. The night's young. You shouldn't go wasting it. Or wasting any of the wine for that matter. I plan on downing half a bottle myself. Oh, did I say half a bottle? I meant half a dozen.
Chest of Grateful Words. Is there anything? Oh, end your adventure. Okay, all right, got it.
Well now, you can make yourself presentable when you have a mind to. Ah, how nice to be understood again. I have spent the past months bickering with builders and bankers, all to restore the city exactly as it was. Same twisting alleys for purse pickers, same wooden buildings ready to get burnt by next year's dragon, same cisterns overflowing, huh?
It's a kip, but it's our kip. So many options.
The upper city has been almost entirely rebuilt. That's where the gold is. Even the builder's scaffolds are cleared from the streets. No dust left to sneeze at. Baldurians simply get on with it. Stubbornness, civic spirit, plain stupidity. Perhaps all three. But nothing I will sniff at any longer. Harpers, have come from half the world over to lend aid. Farmers, masons, healers. My own son, Jord, has been wooed to their ranks. Already he plans crop cycles in Worm's Crossing. Not so for my daughter. Ryan's rejoined the Flaming Fist. Temporarily, you understand. To organize the craftsmen. Though she spends more time locking up comrades for pocketing aid funds. They might learn a thing or two if they don't expel her. Again. I suppose I am. I tried to steer them clear of my life's work, but they have chosen it for themselves. There is still much to do. People to house, a Harper network to rebuild. I may have little love for this city, but so long as my family chooses to serve it, I can do no less. For all your travels, I hope you have arrived where you want to be. Home. Whatever that means to you. Ah, sentiment. With the greatest affection, I can think of better ways to sour our stomachs. I must inspect the refreshments. You'll never know. Some ne'er-do-well might have tampered with the wine.
Hells yes! You're here! Oh, shit. Oh, my God! He wasn't kidding. Withers, you mad bastard! You brought me back! Soldier. It's really you. I've missed you, man. Like, I've really missed you. And you're so clean. I'd say so. Can't think of who's been carrying your pack now that Kay's out of commission. Man, we had some good times. Wish Will and I had more time to reminisce, but surviving Avernus is just non-stop. Still, having him there has been incredible. You really can get through anything with someone you love at your side. Oh, but hey, guess what we found? Cambion dropped a map with directions and blueprints for Zariel's own private forge. A fucking forge! Our current plan is to get in, grab a smith, and force him to fix old Rusty. Or maybe give me a brand new model that can live outside of Avernus. You haven't seen the last of old Karlak yet, soldier. Trying not to count my owlbears before they've hatched. But the thought of coming back to Baldur's Gate keeps me going. Can I look you up when I'm out? Hey, that would be kind of fun, though. High-stakes hide and seek. Honestly, I'd be curious to see if you could land a blow or two. Gods, is it good to see you again. To be here, together. Hard not to get used to it all over again. This won't be the last time. I promise.
Man, I was so worried about how things were going to end with her, and I'm so glad they ended the way they did. I would have been fucking pissed if she would have just died.
By the living gods, I need it.
Who might take to dancing? Ah, breathe deep, Boo! The smell of heroes sings from every stone in this place. To meet again where your journey began, my friend. An honor. For Minsk and his hamster both. Oh, and for Happy also.
Yes. Honored, of course.
Is that also Matt Mercer?
See how your very presence snatches the breath from his chest? And it is no wonder. It is just this day that Happy learned of your legend. while we gazed down upon the very city you saved.
He dangled me from the high hall, upside down, for 2 hours.
The guild should not go creeping in high places if they do not have the stomach for them, hmm? It is well for Happy the strange portal appeared when it did. Minsk's arm was growing aexum. That it has. Minsk once idled away a century in stone, but he and Boo have been busy in these months since we parted. 9 Fingers forbade any looting of the Illithid's fleshy vessels, and so Minsk guards what remains of the battle site, even from her. But where Minsk might once have thrown any sneaking scoundrels from the tower top, now I tell them of you. How you ruled the wickedness within. How they might do the same.
Yes, yes, I'll rule it. I'll be better.
No, of course. It is still for Boo to decide if they live or die.
Oh gods.
But enough, my friend! I cannot tell your tale if I do not know the whole of it. Minsk and Boo would know where you have been, what you have done. Without tadpoles, Boo. Forgive my hamster's squirrelishness. He has developed something of a taste for tadpole, and is displeased with the diet I have been forced to place him on. Now, halfling, Boo will not have you embarrassing him in front of his friends, so you ought to know the rest of the company you keep. Will Ravengard, the Blade of Frontiers, Devil-Horned and Angel-Hearted. Lae'zel of Creshkiller, true child of Gith and true friend to Boo, though she will and say it is not so. Astarion, who is banished by the sun itself for fear his Spanish soul might outshine it. We visit him much down in the dark places, though he often moves his lair without remembering to tell Minsk where.
I wonder why.
Shadowheart. 2 gods dogged at her soul, but she managed to keep it all for herself in the end. Wait, Boo, did she do something with her hair? Halsin, Archdruid of Arch... somewhere. He is a much better man than he smells. And there, the champion of the Hells herself. Karlach Demon's Bane, Devil's Bane, Merkul Ball and Bane. Once the guild is made of goodness once more, Bull shall scratch the Hells wide open and find a way to bring her back. And finally, Jahira. If this is a name you do not already know, then not even Boo can save you. Study them well, sneak thief, for the best among them will be a guide for your guild. Heroes who put the city before themselves, who never falter in their duty. And more than this, who never arrive to a party without even a gift for the host.
But wait!
Go, my friend. Be among our friends. There is much work yet to be done before this one is fit to join them.
Scrounging in barrels.
Good luck, buddy.
He's going to kill me, isn't he? Not the big mad bastard. The hamster.
And a stale loaf of bread just to get by.
What's in this chest? Holy shit. Oh my god. Okay. To the hero of the realms, we have followed your adventure closely from the day you fell from that doomed nautiloid to the final blow you struck the Netherbrain as it loomed over the Sword Coast. We are but a humble guild who pride ourselves in telling stories, not unlike the tales to be written of you for many years to come. How inspired we have been to witness your feats, awesome and terrible, the lives you've saved and sundered, the friendships you found. Thus we thought to extend a greeting, to thank you for adventuring with such creative determination, such panache, enough to touch the hearts of each of our number. With deepest gratitude, the Guild of Great Genius. To whom it may concern, Withers gave me this address and said I should consider writing, thus an update. The Ironhand gnomes are nearly beyond help, but I've managed to yoke them into something resembling a coherent force for innovation. We've been hired to assist in the city's reconstruction, and our steam-powered object motorations are helping to move building supplies in every part of the city. It's nothing, really. I am well. I trust you are too. We deserve it, after all, don't we? Barkus Root. To an old acquaintance, I write to you from the sunny porch of the Last Light Inn. A light breeze blows now and then. People are milling in and out, builders, visitors, the children of all ages in Halsin's care. I can no longer hold a quill or eat without assistance. A kind friend is transcribing this for me. Daniel, rejoined with Oliver, has promised to be with me when the end comes, and as our old songs drift on the wind ever louder, I know I have mere days left. But I do not fear it. If not for your help, this land would still be shrouded in darkness, and I'd still be lost within it. Knowing that my heart is full and happy, and I am grateful for my know that my heart is full and happy, and that I am grateful for my last moments. Do visit someday, and if you have time to stop by an old Flaming Fist's grave, I know I'd love to see you. Art Pullen. Damn. Salutations. I'm writing to request your help in a mysterious case that has arisen since our little Balian bash a half year ago. Regrettably, I'd like to take the credit for dispelling the Ball cult in your absence, you understand, and I'm working on routing the remaining ballists from our fair city with the newly promoted Blaze Devila Fountainhead in tow, of course. This has made me a target. A false document bringing my name into ill repute has been made public, an alleged unpaid bar tab at the Elf Song. If you happen to be passing through with a bindle of coin, perhaps you can persuade management of my obvious innocence. Much obliged. Investigator Valeria, Sleuth of Helm. P.S. Any advice on getting ballast blood out of cloth? My hat's not been the same since the murder tribunal. Hero of Baldur's Gate, vanquisher of the Absolute. The city is forever in your debt, for without your valor, your audacity, your sacrifice, it would not know renewal. It is not temples and inns and homes that I speak of, but hearts. Baldur's Gate can never be the city it was before it suffered the Absolute's touch, and that is as it should be. The survivors have borne witness to their homes near destruction. They have come to regret turning a blind eye to the cruelty Gortash disguises safety and security, and they understand, just as I have come to understand, that trust, compassion, and unity are the foundation of Baldur's Gate. Our gates are open once more to the disowned and displaced. The Flaming Fists will learn to be true servants of the people, and I will devote myself to ridding the gate of the shameful fears that allowed evil to enter our homes and sit at our tables. Yours, Older Ravenguard. Hey you, it's Arabella. You remember me, right? Bone Man once said I needed to find balance, where creation meets ruin, where morning meets midnight, the root of all being. Fancy talk. He was right, though. After I touched that idol in the grove, it was like a big tree started to grow in my head, and all these weird thoughts and feelings and powers sprouted on its branches like big black leaves. I had to figure myself out, so I followed the weave like Bone Man said. I don't know how I knew what to do, I just did. After you squished the brain, Beard Man showed up, said the weave led him to me, and me to him. Beard Man. He's teaching me how to make sense of all those leaves on my head tree. He says I need to use magic responsibly. He also says not to call him Beard Man. I'll let you know how it goes. Is she talking about Gale? Who the fuck is Beard Man? Gale has a beard, I guess. It's not like a particularly distinguishing part of his face, I guess, in my opinion, but a small extract from a self-published polemic tabloid. A note is attached at the top. I will not be silenced. E. Needling with Edvard. Friends, Baldurians, my people, consider our loss. Our lauded and benevolent patriarchs maimed. Our great upper city libraries demolished. The very beating heart of our great city, the right to speak freely, dead upon the cobbles. Do you not see, my friends? Lord Gortash, formerly our greatest bulwark against the Absolute, is now smeared as a collaborator. His allies and colleagues tossed aside. Former publications of repute turning into censorious farces. The pamphlet continues in much the same fashion. Yeah. My friend, no. My darling. Oh, it could be Elminster. Elminster definitely has a beard. Greetings from Menzo Baranzan, where the blood you so kindly traded me is ready to play its part in resurrecting the glorious house Oblodra. The moment I saw you, I knew you had power, and I knew that I could harness it. I knew that it could be mine. Soon, I will descend into the abyss my people call the Claw Rift, searching for my lost house in its depths. Will it be dangerous? Oh yes, most dangerous. But don't fear, darling. Your strength will see me through. I will find the ruins of my house, and when I emerge again, it will be as the matron mother of a house reborn. All thanks to you, all thanks to the power in your blood. Until we meet again, my darling, Araj. I just realized I actually never went into her basement or like went back to her and talked to her about the blood stuff again. Oh well. After so long in a vampire cell, I'd almost forgotten how to write. Never mind what to write, but what can you say to the person who unlocked your cage and gave you your life back, or gave us some kind of life at least? After you killed Cazador and opened our cells, we fled into the Underdark. There were thousands of us, a ravenous wave, mad with freedom and out for blood, and gods did we find blood. We swarmed every monster and unfortunate in our path, drinking what we could. We lost hundreds along the way, some to beasts, but most just disappeared into the dark. It wasn't easy, but eventually Cazador's house spawn calmed us and took control. They found some old ruins we could call home, and we've been there ever since, building new lives for ourselves. We're not free down here. The dark will chain us forever, but we aren't the prisoners we once were either, and that's thanks to you. You looked in our cages and saw people, not monsters, and here, down in the shadows, we're trying to live up to that. Thank you now and forever, Sebastian.
Withers has laid out quite a spread of food, for one comprising mostly of bone.
Dear friend, I doubted you for so long. Perhaps you knew that already in spite of my best attempts. You proved yourself time and again at Waukeen's Rest and Moonrise Towers and Worm's Rock, and still I doubted. The Netherbrain's defeat should have proven your courage, yet I was more doubtful than ever. This was a ruse, a dream, a trick. And then one eve, from the elf song, I heard it, singing, a raucous, lewd, tuneless, drunken refrain. I'd never heard anything more terrible and more beautiful. I raised my voice and joined the chorus. That was the moment all my doubts melted away and were replaced with something more valuable, hope. Baldur's Gate will be whole again. I might have doubted you, but you never did. With profound admiration, Floric. To the Spawn Astarion, greetings from the family of Ulma, hunters of monsters and keepers of peace across Faerun. We know this letter finds you well, for although we hunt you no longer, we do sometimes keep a watch. Your restraint and control over your bloodlust has been admirable. Indeed, it has been an inspiration for our children, who have struggled with their own hunger. These last months have been a difficult time for our people. We have protected and nurtured our children as best we can. We have learned much. Herbs we once used to dull our foes' minds are now sedatives to ease hunger and pain. Restraints built to hold the undead now protect them from themselves. There's been a lot of pain, but a lot of progress too. Our children learned discipline and control, while we learned compassion and patience. There was a time when we would have destroyed any undead creature, our own blood or not, and called it a mercy. But then we met you. We saw that redemption was possible. Difficult, yes, painful, but possible. You saved our children first from Cazador and then from us. For that, we thank you. We will watch you still, but with more admiration than fear. Walk in peace, Astarion. Hello, friend. I'm sorry it's been so long, but I have the most amazing news. You know how Lacrissa was working insane hours at the Elfsong Tavern? Well, she woke me up one morning all excited and told me she had a surprise for me. She took me to a house in the lower city that had a plaque hanging up outside of it. A plaque with your and Lahala's names on it, and School of Music beneath. I just burst into tears. I couldn't believe it. It's the cutest house you've ever seen, with a big open space downstairs and a small loft where we can sleep. Word spread, and before I knew it, I had a room packed with trainee bards from Candlekeep to Waterdeep. Lacrissa had to quit the elf song to help out. I'm teaching night and day and fall into bed utterly exhausted every night. I've never been happier. Do come and visit sometime. We'd love to have you. Lots of love, Alfira. Thanks for the robe. It carried me through a good chunk of the game. Hey there, would you mind passing this on to Karlak? Thanks a mil. Karlak, if you're reading this, you're alive. One way or another, you found a way. Thank the gods. I think of you often, wondering what's become of you. Write to me, please, won't you? Please. Yours faithfully, damn it. Gale, my boy, I can only apologize for my absence from Wither's little gathering. As you know, only the most urgent of business would keep me from indulging myself in his excellent taste in sweetmeats, and your esteemed company, of course. I was delighted to hear that you came to your senses with regards to that cursed crown, and delighted yet further when I learned that the orb's malingering presence no longer poses any threat. In that sense, at least, I hope you feel Mistra treated you fairly. I hear you've been dabbling in the spot of educating, a noble profession indeed, and no doubt after your adventures you've plenty of wisdom to share. If I might offer a modicum of my own, keep your head sharp, your heart kind, and your larder stocked. After all, one never knows when an old friend might drop by. Elminster. Dear Shadowheart, I hope that you are happy and well. I must keep this short, for as I remain surrounded by Shar's followers at almost every waking moment in my new enclave, I dearly wish for you to enjoy I dearly wish for you to enjoy your night spent with old friends, and I hope that you and I shall share such a reunion. I know it must seem strange for me to dwell on such heretical thoughts, yet I cannot help myself. Perhaps one day I shall find some measure of the bravery that you did and walk away from this life. Until then, I shall keep safe and hold memories of you as my one ember of light amid an ocean of darkness. Until we find each other once again, yours always, Nocturne. Githyanki's script, Tirsu, adorns one side of the page, the other is written in the common tongue. Shillak. Orpheus may not be with us, but the comet shines ever bright. Breath by breath, battle by battle, Vlaakith's death draws nearer. I have taken to the astral plane, slaughter all who must be slaughtered, and spread the air's truth to every possible ear, willing and unwilling. Many Githyanki have already taken up arms as warriors of the comet. Others have remained in their enclaves or traveled to creches, dedicating themselves to our cause as scribes, spies, and slate scholars. But our allies do not all call themselves children of Gith. Zareth Minyar Agith, the Githzerais god king, has requested an audience. There was a time I would have thought such a coalition unspeakable, but with the Githzerai at our side, not even the full force of the Kithraki could stop us. If Vlaakith is to fall, perhaps the two skies must again be made one. Voss Revricall to Orpheus, Knight of the Comet. Letter from Hope. I had a dream last night, not that there are any nights here, or any days. It was a dream about you, all of you, and you were here with me, and I had served bread and jam and oat crackers and cheeses and enough tea to quench a desert. You nibbled and sipped and smiled and laughed, and you asked if I was happy. Nobody has asked that for so long that I don't know if anyone has ever asked at all. I didn't have the words to answer, so instead I led you through my house and showed you all the souls that are here with me. They were Raphael's once, but now they only belong to themselves. The archive is an art gallery, the boudoir is a grand kitchen, and the dungeon is a refuge for any wounded soul or creature that finds its way to us. Am I happy? I don't know, but I am Hope, and I persist because of you.
What more could I wish for?
Thought I'd reach out first for once. I finally had my baby, a beautiful boy. I can't believe I ever thought of giving him up. He screams his head off half the night, and I've barely slept, but I'm the happiest I've ever been. Other than my wedding day, of course. I decided to name him Connor after his dad. With Ethel gone, myself and some other hag survivors have started our own publishing house. We've only printed a few pamphlets so far, but I'm halfway through my first book, me, an author. It's like something out of a dream. Mind you, it's all about how to kill hags, but you know what they say, write what you know. With every pamphlet we publish, more people show up to our support groups. As happy as that makes me, it breaks my heart to see how much harm Ethel did. But so long as I live, another hag won't set foot in Baldur's Gate, you have my word. Anyway, the reason I'm writing isn't just to talk your ear off, it's to say thank you for saving a scared young girl who thought she'd be a terrible mother. I couldn't have been more wrong. Next time we meet, pints are on me. Irina. This stack of correspondence is hefty. The first letter is signed and dated from slightly before your encounter with the Netherbrain. Hi, hello, greeting to you. I am writing from inside a pigeon coop. Neighbor, friend to all birds. So excuse any dried poo. I saw a letter tied to a pigeon leg and had the words epidemic, epidermis, and epilogue are all crossed out here. Epiphany. I had one of those. I kept asking you what you thought I should be, but not what you needed me to be. Then I remembered you kept coming to talk to me. No one else has ever done that, so I know my place now. I hear my calling. I shall be your pen pal. I'll write you every 10 day. Right, gotta go. Need to start planning my letters. Yours relentlessly, neighbor, pal of pens. There are 17 more letters in the pile. Incredible. I'm not much for leaving my city, but it does... Thanks, Go. But it does gladden a girl's heart to be asked to the ball, so I'll thank you for that much. In my place, except a few casks of a fine vintage that managed to roll their way down from the upper city in all the commotion. The rebuilding has given rise to many such happy opportunities, worth discussing over a more civilized drink in my guild hall if you find yourself at a loose end. Enjoy the muck and see if you can get the High Harper to sing. You won't be disappointed. 9 fingers. Zevlor. I hope my penmanship has improved somewhat in the past months. When I first stumbled into the city, I shook so badly that I could scarcely hold the soup the priests pressed into my hands, let alone write and thank you as you deserve. It is only when the city itself began to shake that I felt my hands grow still. Along with the other veterans sheltering at the temple, discards of El Terrell's unworthy legions, I watched that monstrosity rise over the city. We felt no fear, only anger, disgust, purpose, and with it, power. I do not know what oath we cling to now or how long it will last, but we shall use it to ensure that this city will not suffer as Elturel did, whether it wants us or not. It is more than thanks alone I owe. No words can make amends for what I did to my people, but that is as it should be. More come to the temple every day to aid in the relief efforts, and if I am permitted to work alongside them, then I am content. Come and see us when you can, Zevlor. Last letter. Francesca. Oak Father's blessings to you, unmet friend. You may not know me, but I know a great deal of you thanks to our mutual acquaintance, Halsin. I am Francesca of the High Forest, and I wish to thank you for all you have done in nature's service. Not only did you rescue a swath of the Oak Father's realm from the shadows, but you likewise helped turn the Emerald Grove from a dark path also, and perhaps most auspiciously of all, you unburdened my dear friend of something that had tormented him for a lifetime. Now I serve as Archdruid in his stead, while he thrives with new purpose.
Good company,
I shall honor all that you did for us by returning the Grove and its followers to their core principles of balance and harmony. Rest assured, those who were once tempted by darker influences shall return to the Oak Father's true word. You have my eternal thanks and admiration. Your faithful servant, Francesca of the High Forest, Archdruid of the Emerald Grove. P.S. I passed on Halsin's message to his dear friend Orm, who is most eager to come join him at his new commune. I would not have believed a bear of his size could jump with excitement had I not witnessed it with my own eyes. I expect Orm will have arrived there by the time Halsin returns from your festivities. A most pleasant surprise for him, I will wager. Okay, I read all of the letters. I think these are probably all the same. Oh no, these are different. Witnesses encounter a vampire spawn and live to tell the tale. 6 months since the assassination of Archduke Gortash, small son. Tour new district built by Elturian refugees. New Bardic School Tiefling founder secures upper city funding. Janeth House to host evening of art and culture celebrating salvation of city. Monument planned for heroes of the High Hall. Volthamp Getarm's Guide to Baldur's Gate. Bard seeks contributors to newest edition. Last holdout cultist cleared from the Temple of Baal. Iron Throne wreckage continues to block shipping lanes, complain merchants. Settlers bound for lands upriver amid claims curse is lifted. Settlers bound for lands upriver upriver amid claims curse is lifted. Okay. Business boom. Take your troubles to the House of Grief. Don't do that. How's that place still going? Umberly priesthood tight-lipped over killings. Ravenguard returned to full strength. The Wizard of Waterdeep. Exclusive interview with Savior of the City. Iron Hands and Gondians rebuild. The city's new era of ingenuity. Gondians no more. Wolburn Bongle's Iron Hand gnomes take center stage. Serial killer unmasked as crazed vibes.
Must be careful to not
Planar
overindulge
Pains.
tonight.
City caught in center of
Lest I
Yankee.
lose control and slip into bear form.
I wish it could last forever.
Fresh stock interview with the new master of Ramazith's Tower. Thorm's army dispersed from Baldurian borders. Report Stonelord killed by beloved ranger. Almond Cakes of Avernus, Elturian refugees, and owners of city's newest cafe share their recipe. Harper's out of hiding. Secretive sect step forward to aid city. Site of Foundry blast still sectioned off, says Fist. Okay. Malil.
Some fish heads and a stale loaf of bread just to get by.
Oh, hello. Let me guess, you've got some suggestions about the music choice. You have no idea who I am, do you? I thought Withers might have set the stage a little. I owe him a favor, one he is eternally invoking. I thought honoring the worthy was a fair price to pay for Withers to pull me out of the fugue plane. Alas, one purgatory to another. Languishing in obscurity. Cyric knew what he was doing when he punished me for that song, the prick.
Before I was banished to the fugue plane, I had song prayers coming out the proverbial ears. Guess how many I get now? None. I'm washed up, I'm afraid.
Yeah, sure. Oh, boy. Probably not gonna happen. Tragic.
No, I can see it all over your face. You've not a clue who I am.
He's too insightful.
Suppose I'll get back to it then.
All right.
Ganya's here. Wish I'd had
Just
time
as
to
a
polish
sanity
up the
check,
horns.
I think I've talked to everybody. Is there anything else I should do before I go? I haven't missed anything, have I? All right. One save for the road. Oh, it auto-saved me here, but now I've talked to everybody, so. And my saves are working again. Yippee! Oh, there's a bunch of stuff in here. Why is there stuff in here? Oh, a potion of animal speaking. What do I need scrolls for? A missive in Wither's hand addressed to some unknown entity. Though you understand the alphabet, the script, and the words themselves, the meaning eludes you. You glean only the impression of dark sun and white sky, and an offering, or perhaps a warning. For my adventuresome muse, our fates are bound, my wisdom vast, I dearly hope our kinship lasts. Deepest affections, Volothamp Gedarm, poet, artist, savant, etc. Poorly drawn map of a city is captioned in flamboyant script. What follows is the most thorough and accurate account of the city and people of Baldur's Gate, the sordid gem of the Sword Coast. An editor's note in crimson ink follows. V. This volume is startlingly accurate, save for the nonsense about the Black Dragon Gate. It is not alive, no matter how many vagrant hags claim otherwise. Commission someone else to draw the map. E. Book of Reeling Souls, a neat list of Baldurians and the deaths that befell them, beneath an annotation from Withers. Souls snuffed out in the battlefield for the Baldur's Gate. Perhaps some might deign to return should their city ever have need again. Savern Orthalo, crushed by a falling roof as he held the door furthest to flee. Nance D, charged a mind flayer that entered her granddaughter's room, died with her second best scissors in its eye. Barely Quickflint brought a Nautiloid down over the bay. Recipe of elixir of arcane cultivation. Though the book is mildewed and covered with what seem to be imprints of animal guts, one recipe in particular is still legible. There is joy in helping others that I never knew. While I myself have never had any talent for manipulating the weed directly, cannot get the look of wonder on Nikros' face out of my head, that look he had when he imbued this potion. It fills my body with a soothing electricity I had thought impossible. It's not a new recipe, so... Essence of Planetar Feather. Oh! A gilded mortar and pestle. Wow. Glowing gem. Well, I have to admit that now my curiosity is piqued. The fact that they gave me a potion of animal speaking here. I just want to go talk to the owlbear and scratch.
Withers has laid out quite a spread of food.
Happy? Gonna get pets? Gonna play? Gonna live with nice lady?
Hell yeah.
Yes. Miss this. More.
Oh, boy! Is it lovely to sniff you again? I certainly have, and I always will. Forever, I think. And so will you. You always know just how to do it.
All right.
This one night is like any other, and yet different. Thou art the savior of Baldur's Gate, until such time it requires saving again. How dost thou feel? I am pleased to hear it. The satisfaction of one's intention is, to my surprise, a rare accomplishment. Enjoy the revelry of the day. Thou deservest at least that much. What indeed? Prick up thy ears and listen. The balance of the world restored. The balance of these lives, mortal and otherwise, brought to account. Hear me, thou heroes, wastrels, friends. I have waited long to tell you these words. It is over. For now. Thou played thy part in weaving the fabric of fate itself, but for every thread you sewed, so did the gods unravel another. Sleep, rest, revel, but be ready, for thou mayst yet be needed. Until we meet again, I wish thee every possible fortune, health, wealth, love, and above all, problems worth solving. To you.
Yay! Oh, man. I fucking did it. What a game. What a game. Oh.
I feel your breath upon my neck, a soft caress as cold as death. Cold as death. I didn't know you well back then. I blame it on luck and fate. Luck and fate. Your blood like wine, I wanted in. Oh, darling, get me drunk and make me feel it's not my fault. I'm not to blame. These ain't my sins. I broke my chains. There's more to not my fault. I'm not to blame. These ain't my sins. I broke my chains. There's more to do if I can only leave. I can't go yet.
Man.
Don't let me die. I'll never stop until I'm done. But just tonight, maybe I'll rest in peace.
This is easily one of the more impressive things about this game to me. Is just the incredible number of people that were involved in all of the voice acting throughout the game.
I hear your heart beating my soul. Our endings bound, our bodies know. I can't go yet. Don't let me die. I want to live, my only one. There's more to do if we can only leave. The clock won't stop, and this is what we get.
It's really neat to see how much of this was mocapped as well, because it was a little hard for me to tell exactly how much of it was. It seemed like a decent amount of it was, but a lot of times it felt like they were still animating around the dialogue as best they could to make the facial expressions and mouth movements line up. But then there's a number of times where you're watching and it's like, oh man, they're like so expressive with their hands, and the movements and gestures feel really natural to like the dialogue that's happening in a way that's hard, I think, sometimes to animate for hundreds of hours of gameplay, while still like continuing to have it look good and be accurate. So Are we in credits now? Oh yeah. I think that I was kind of chilling and waiting for like the special songs there with the added vocals to play, but it sounds like we're just in the regular orchestrated music portion of the credits. So go ahead. Yeah, I mean this. What's done is done. I'm not running back anymore of this game at this point. Yeah. Okay. Withers. Yes. Yep. Yep. He's Jurgle. Okay. That's... Are you supposed to figure that out while playing the game? Did I just miss it or not make the connection or... Yeah, I'm like briefly familiar with Jurgle, and he's mentioned in a number of documents. Okay, sure. And then he does fuck all. If I felt responsible for causing a potential world-ending cataclysm, I would have let me respec for free. That's all I'm saying. Two out of 15-ish hours if you fail to check on the Book of the Dead Gods. Shocker. Oh, I remember that book even. I remember failing to check on that book and being like, of course. Just piss that out the window. But that's what does it for you? That's what like makes the character so interesting and important to you? That's kind of wild. Do you survive him ripping your eye out? Can you be like a one-eyed hero? Oh. Even better. Although truly, outside of a couple of encounters, the invisibility would not have been worth losing an eye for. Did you actually let him do that to you in your playthrough, or did you just find out about this? You let him do it? Knowing everything you know about Volo, you let him do it. That's crazy. Does it look like a fake eye in cutscenes, or does it just look like the eye that you had before? It looks fake? That's fucking cool, man. That's so cool. Small regret. Small regret for me. I probably would have given it to somebody else and not to Ryder. But small regret. What else you guys got for me? Any other fun facts or anything else that you feel like I missed or glossed over, or you did differently than I did that was interesting? Yeah, I don't really want to know about all the different endings because personally I'm like, honestly, maybe I save those for another playthrough that I might stream. I think if I stream another playthrough of this game, there's a fair amount of it that I would probably try to speed through. I don't know that I would do every single little side quest because you certainly don't need to get to the max level, which is probably the most important reason to do a lot of the side quests. And I think that if I streamed a playthrough of this, again, where I was going for something specific, I would probably follow some sort of guide or read up on like a walkthrough of like, here are important things to make sure that you do regardless of what ending you're going for because they result in help or money or good items or something along those lines. Because certainly missing some of the stuff that doesn't end up being particularly rewarding would be worth saving time on, I think. And I feel like I really did a good job this time of seeing functionally everything that I could see in a playthrough where I try to do as much as that playthrough allows. And obviously there's some exceptions to that where it's like, oh, well, you weren't actually like a bad enough person to get this side quest. Sure, I understand that. Not questioning that. Do a Dark Urge run. That was one of the few things that I have heard people talk about in name only, and I can sort of put together what that is and what it means and implies, but I don't actually know anything about it literally other than what I've been able to sort of gently infer and imagine based on the name and the hushed whispers that people talk about it in. So I remember it being one of the character selection choices, yeah, and I kind of, again, with what little I knew about it and the way that people talk about doing a Dark Urge playthrough, I was like, I probably don't want to pick that one. I probably want to avoid picking that one. That one seems like it's probably not the thing that I'm going for on run 1. It seems like maybe there's going to be something pretty different about that one. I am also, having played through it, interested in doing an honor mode playthrough, personally. More so than I was with Divinity and Divinity 2. Actually, I don't know if Divinity 1 has an honor mode, but I know Divinity 2 does. To be truly honest with you guys, I do not think that the game challenges you particularly much to be good at it at balanced difficulty. Obviously, there were a couple of encounters that I feel like I did struggle with, but a lot of that is just going in without knowing what's about to happen and being surprised by certain things, and being a little bit bad at manipulating the game. That's my fault. And making silly mistakes. But I think once you kind of know what to expect, yeah, honor mode is definitely for when you're walking into encounter and you know what to expect. And the easiest example for me is like that encounter for Shadowheart's thing at the bottom in the basement of that Shar place, where the enemies were like, oh, I hope you know how to fight in darkness because we're just going to spam darkness everywhere. and that powers us up and makes you blind, so get fucked. And I was like, okay, I will get fucked, and that's exactly what happened the first time at it. So I think things like that are a good example of like, well, when you know that's what they're going to do, you can plan for that, and you can counteract it. And the other thing that I think is worth noting is like, I did kind of optimize my characters in a fairly specific way, but I did some things intentionally that were like not the way that you would play this in an honor mode. For one, I tried to use as many different feats from the category, from like the list as possible. And I actually am really happy with how that turned out. It led to characters feeling pretty diverse, nobody being like particularly ultra powerful, although I do think that Will and Karlach and Lae'zel to a certain extent were very strong, and I do think that I probably didn't quite build a monk the way you should build a monk, for my own sake. And like, actually, Halsin by the end of the game I think was very powerful as well. And it seems like paladins in general just really benefit from the way the system works in this game, where it's like, there is no limit on how often you can long rest, and you could just do every single encounter and then do a long rest and get all your smites back and just absolutely wreck shop. So there's definitely some things that I think you could set up for in an auto mode playthrough where you know what things to take advantage of that would make it not too bad. But anyway, I'm interested in an auto mode playthrough. I don't know if I would necessarily... I'm definitely not going to jump right into another one. This game will sit in my library for a little bit longer, I think, before I even consider bringing it back. And like I said, if I do, I would be shooting for something less than 100 hours. It needs to be fast enough that I can get it done in less than 100 hours of game time if I play this again. Which would probably be a lot of cutscene and dialogue skipping and acknowledging that we've already seen this and we know what's going to happen, and it's not worth rewatching it again, if you know what I mean. So, I know it's involved in honor mode. I know that it places restrictions on how often... was it how often you can long rest, and it like changes... NPC behavior about being charmed and things like that, and probably also drastically increases the difficulty of encounters in some specific ways. But I don't know exactly. Now, I remember reading it when we were looking at it at the beginning, 6 months ago. You get one save slot. Sure, one save slot. That's fine. That's not that big a deal. Does it have permadeath, though? Because that's the only thing that would make one save slot bad. Where it's like, if a character dies, if you wipe, that's it. That's fine. If you can still revivify, not that hard. Because how many times did I know, again, acknowledging that the difficulty of the game increases, how many times did I wipe in this playthrough? Twice? I think it was just twice. There was a couple times where I fought through a near wipe and survived. Yeah, and so admittedly, if I did try to do an honor mode, maybe it would end. Maybe it would end before I made it to the end of the game, and acknowledging that, that's life. I would at least like to give it a try. It would still be fun to try it, I think. Even if it's not I get a new ending from doing this. And I would probably try to do some no saves coming on rerolls. Yeah, that's fine. So it's just, is it just autosaves then? Boss to get legendary actions? That was something that I thought was missing from the balanced difficulty setting here. I was like, where the fuck are my legendary actions at, game? Like, surely by level 9 or 10 I should be fighting shit that can do that. I thought that was odd. I don't want to miss anything at the end, but I very much need to take an AFK. Let me see how quick this chunk is and if there's another chunk after it. We're doing mod testing. Oh, it reset alphabetically? What the fuck? Okay, I'm gonna... Oh, hold on. We're at K's already. Okay, I'm gonna chance it with a special thanks. I'll be right back.
I feel your breath upon my neck, a soft caress as cold as death. Cold as death. I didn't know you well back then. I blame it on all luck and pain. Luck and pain. Your blood like wine, I want it in. Oh, darling, get me drunk and make me feel it's not my fault. I'm not to blame. These ain't my sins. I broke my chains. There's more to do, and I still want to live.
I feel your breath upon my neck, a soft caress as cold as death. Cold as death. I feel your heart beat in my soul, our futures bound, our bodies know. Your blood like wine, I want it in. Oh, darling, get me drunk, invite me. It's not my fault, I'm not to blame. These ain't my sins, I broke my chains. There's more to do if I can only leave. I can't go yet. Don't let me.
This looks like special thanks from the team.
I'll never stop until I'm done. But just tonight, maybe I'll rest in peace. I feel your breath upon my neck, a soft caress as cold as death. I hear your heart beat in my soul, our endings bound, our bodies know.
I will probably do it on my own. I doubt I will stream me listening to it.
Don't let me die.
I want to live,
My only one. There's more to do if we can only live. The clock won't stop, and this is what we get.
The legal bits. We're almost there. We're almost there. Yep. It's important though. It's one of those things where it's like, you might not like it. You might not like that we sit here, we watch the whole credits, but I wouldn't do it any other way.
There thou art, the dead three. Thy faces gods, thy actions barely worthy of the name. Didst truly believe thy ploy would succeed? Didst believe I would not notice? Thou soughtst to bolster thy strength by taking away the souls of mortals. But souls vanish when their hosts become mind flayers. Didst think the other gods would not notice? Gods thou may be, yet thou hast proven thyself fools, everyone. The supplication of Bane, the whimper of Baal, the death mule of Merkel. Felled by mortals, I overestimated thee. They did not. Vermin, away. Thou wilt trouble us no more.
Back to the main menu, huh? That's it then. In-game playtime claims 230 hours and 47 minutes. Steam would dispute that and probably be slightly more accurate. Steam says that I have played for 280 hours. It looks like, excuse me, it looks like I got half of the achievements done in one go. Oh, there's an achievement for defeating 20 enemies while drunk. 14 hidden achievements. Earn 100 gold from playing sweet, sweet music in a single playthrough. Honor mode clear. Multi-class into every class in one playthrough without asking Withers to change your character. Oh, okay. Defeat Gortash without activating traps. Complete the game in Tactician mode. In the Wormway, wait until the dragon is mid-flight, then knock it out of the sky. Huh. Use an enemy as an improvised weapon against another. Fair enough. Didn't do that. Recruit a hireling. Kill the surgeon before he performs surgery on you in combat. Break out of prison after being arrested. Never got arrested. Long rest using only alcohol. Ah, fuck. That would have been an easy one to do. Got another 50 hours of Dreamcast to match your claimed Steam BG3 time. That's crazy. Defeat Commander Zalek on the... Oh, okay. At the very beginning of the game, in the prologue. So, not that many achievements that aren't hidden, probably because of them being associated with different or varying endings. Again, very pleased with my playthrough. Very pleased with my playthrough. If you beat me, get a flame enchanted, so that's cool. That's cool. So, here's what I'll say about the game. And I'm going to try to keep this short, because I feel like I've hit on a lot of these points as I played. And my opinion about that mostly hasn't changed throughout the game. I really... There's so much about this game that is incredible, and I think very much worthy of the praise that it receives. Obviously, everybody knows that this game is very highly regarded, and I think that it should be. I want that said first and foremost, because I'm going to pose a few criticisms that, honestly, maybe mods could help change a few of them. But I do think some of them are just a bit of like a core design decision that I just don't think is particularly good or that I agree with. So like music, character designs, voice acting, dialogue, locations, settings, story, pretty much all of that shit, I have no complaints. It was a truly epic a game, and it encapsulates what I think is so awesome and incredible about D&D in a way that it was so much fun to play and experience. Lots of surprises. The voice acting was incredible. The characters are all great. The dialogue is very enjoyable. Lots of fun options. Lots of serious options. One of the things that I think goes maybe a little unsung or unrecognized about the way that Wizards of the Coast has developed Dungeons & Dragons as a property for years is that they like to balance the seriousness and the gravity of some of the things that can happen in the setting and in the game system with silly shit. There is often a fine line to walk between the serious and the absurd. And I think this game did an excellent job of balancing that. There were many times that I felt were genuinely funny. Like seriously silly or funny situations that you are presented with that and sometimes even such that like here is this obviously absurd thing, but you are intended to take it seriously. Those types of balancing those types of moments alongside of the real serious story moments can be challenging, but I feel like this game accomplished it very, very, very well. Incredibly successful on that front. And so really, I would say that the main points of criticism that I would have are very nitpicky, very small in comparison to the grand scheme of things and how much this game delivers on everything that it promises, which is like an epic adventure in Faerun. It 100% nails that in its entirety. My nitpicks are almost exclusively on UI and Yes, exactly. Go find a dismembered clown. You got turned into a wheel of cheese. Like, that whole circus is a perfect example of, like, this is a silly thing to imagine in a fantasy setting. It fits perfectly, but it also has, like, weird stakes attached to it. So, my complaints are simply that I do not think that the UI is robust enough. I do not think that the game does a good enough job of explaining where things come from, why you have certain effects, or what exactly that they do. I do not think that the game does a good enough job of evaluating your proficiency with certain abilities and the way that it should make you better at certain things. That can feel very off and very disconnected from the strength that you should be gaining naturally as you progress. I do not like how difficult it is to preview a class and figure out what things they're going to gain access to as you grow stronger. And by difficult, I mean impossible. You can't do that. You basically pick a subclass blind. You get to know what it gets you at that moment with no indication of what the other options might provide down the line that you might prefer more. So I think that does a disservice overall to like the character building and character leveling experience. And I don't think it would be that hard to show you what all of the things like. It's not necessarily a talent tree, but the way that the RPG books do it is when there's a set of things that you get based on the level that you achieve, they just show you a fucking table. I want that table in the game. And it's silly as hell to me that they didn't do that. And that's probably my biggest gripe. Not that it would have necessarily changed any of the decisions that I made for characters or classes, but I just think that it's a pretty obvious miss. A pretty obvious miss when you are building a character. You have tables to look at that show you in general. Didn't even have to be specific. I didn't need a detailed write-up of what all of the abilities do that you might gain. Just a preview, at a minimum, would have been helpful for determining what path I might want to choose. Yeah, you pick pretty blind, and at the end of the day, Dungeons & Dragons is a somewhat balanced system, so you don't really have to worry about necessarily picking something quote-unquote bad. But you are picking on vibes, and the vibes can lead you to feeling like you've created a duplicate of another character. One of my criticisms of not Baldur's Gate 3, but of Dungeons & Dragons in general in 5th edition is that a lot of the subclasses feel like, well, I am X class, but this subclass lets me be a little bit of Y class as well. There's a sort of lack of uniqueness in some of the base Player's Handbook original subclasses. A lot of the newer subclasses that they've added since then have felt a little bit less like X with a splash of Y and more like X with like a different twist on it, which is better, I think. And I think ultimately why a number of my choices for subclasses for characters did end up being some of the newer options. But again, that's a criticism that I have of Dungeons & Dragons, just sort of in general, not a specifically Baldur's Gate 3 thing. They're working with what they got from Wizards, and I think Wizards failed in 5th edition to create subclasses that felt more unique and interesting than X with a splash of Y. My absolute biggest criticisms of that would easily be like the rogue subclasses. The rogue subclasses are so ass, which is why I picked Swashbuckler for Asterion, even though I don't think of him much as a swashbuckler. It was just the closest thing that I had to like, this is a rogue, but like not just a rogue with a splash of sorcerer with like the there's like the illusion there's like the illusion magic subclass for rogue. One of the other ones is just like, oh yeah, you just get this other thing that a different class does. it's fucking lame. So again, that's a D&D's problem, not BG3's problem. But in general, I don't have all of the classes and subclasses memorized, and it would have been really nice in the game to have an idea of how many key points you're going to end up with. I couldn't remember if it was one per level, one plus, you start with one and then you get one for every level. So you get 13 by level 12. You just get a key point per level. I couldn't remember. As just one simple example, I think it would have been nice to have some more descriptions on that stuff. The other really, like I said, and then the other big thing that I think the game does a piss poor job of is communicating resources and difficulty classes. On my stuff, the game was actually weirdly good about telling me how hard it was to deal with other people's stuff. But when it came to knowing what my Stunning Strikes DC was, and the fact that my Stunning Strikes DC, I think, was just like 10 plus wisdom bonus. So it's like a 12 all game. But I don't know. And I don't know enough about Monk in the tabletop to know if that's how it works there too. The wild magic bug didn't even fucking bother me. Didn't even bother me because you hit level 10 or whatever it was, and if you took damage, you could re-roll it. That like more or less fixed the problem. Also, that bug was only present after level 9. I read the patch notes. It was an issue for the last 3 levels for some reason. So the wild magic was working correctly up until level 9. So like the first 6 levels. So the majority of it was working. And it wasn't an issue. And weirdly, I'll tell you this much as well. As neat as the idea of the wild magic was, not enough options. Not Baldur's Gate 3's fault. I'm pretty sure this is just how Wild Magic Barbarian looks in the rules of D&D. Not enough options for what things can happen from the wild magic. And it's not really the reason why any barbarian rages. The barbarian rages to get bonus damage and to take and to have damage resistance. That is why the barbarian rages. Any other reason is just a nice little bonus. It's a little extra to have, if you will. So I don't even care about the wild magic bug on barbarian. Didn't matter to me whatsoever. Barely noticed it. Was just confused about it a little bit. Didn't really impact anything. Didn't change my decisions or influence that much how often I used Karlach. She was still the fucking beast, and the only thing that I wished was like a couple of times when it bugged out. One of them was when I had that teleport, and I really wanted that teleport, and then I couldn't get the teleport, and it was gone, and I was like, well, fuck, I was kind of counting on that teleport, but we made do, and it's fine. So, and they fixed it, and it was working at the end of the game. So I don't even really care. Doesn't matter. And that said, I do think there are a number of bugs still present in the game. I will use recently Mystic Carrion's curse afflicting Minsk after he saved on it twice. I do not understand why that happened. I do not understand why I had to cast Remove Curse, why the saves didn't amount for ending the curse and negating the effect. I do think that was bullshit, and I don't think that that's the way that that's intended to work. There was a number of things that I don't think worked the way that they were intended to work, and I found that to be not that big of a deal, but kind of weird and kind of frustrating. But like I said, outside of weird and frustrating and confusing and, oh, I didn't really expect that to work that way, or I don't think this description is very helpful, or whatever, a lot of those little things and nitpicks in a game that is this scale really don't amount to that much. It didn't really negatively impact my experience playing the game to a significant enough degree that I wouldn't still say this game is fucking great and that I had a blast playing it. It was super fun, super engaging. I always felt like I was exploring and finding things and having a good time. And I really don't have anything negative to say in that regard outside of my own personal experiences being I'm a little bit of a picky shithead, and I'm a little bit petty, and I'm a little bit of a I notice things that other people might not notice. I was looking at dice rolls. I was looking at DCs. I was paying attention to what was succeeding and what wasn't. I was, I care about that shit. It helps me make decisions as we move on, and it helps me learn what is and isn't effective and what does and doesn't work. And that's how I like to optimize my playthrough. So when I see shit like, I don't remember what it was. Oh, I remember what it was. During the encounter with Saravok, that motherfucker and his goons were rolling against like a DC 8 on my Hunger of Hadar that I cast as a leveled spell from will. And even if I hadn't cast it as a leveled spell, even if I did use a scroll, which I don't think I did, I'm pretty sure it was a leveled spell, but even if it was a scroll, a fucking DC 8 from a scroll, that's not how that works. There's no reason they should have been rolling saves against a DC 8. That was asinine. And that stuck with me as like, I am a petty bitch and I'm going to bring this up at the end of the playthrough because that fucking annoyed the shit out of me that they were constantly saving. I lost all that. They were already resistant to the damage. That's my fault, not their fault. They were already resistant to the damage and then they were constantly saving. Just really fucking irked me because they were rolling against a base DC instead of having at least Will's proficiency modifier on it. Not to mention the fact that Will's spell DC should have been like at least 20 because of his charisma and proficiency and the other bonuses that he had to increasing his spell DC from equipment. So that is one of the examples that I would use, and there were a few other examples like it where I was just like, this is bullshit, and the game is not calculating this the way that it should, and I don't know why, and it's fucking annoying me. So it's a 9.25 for me. It's a 9.25 out of 10. The little bit of glitchiness, the little bit of nitpicks, and the things that I think annoyed me and stuck with me as, there's no reason that it should have been doing this thing the way that it's doing it. I don't even think they amount to a full point because everything else in the game is just amazing. Truly, even those moments that felt frustrating did not really remove me from the enjoyment that I had playing the game. Outside of my own sort of like persnicketyness and want and like desire to play well and do things correctly, the game was a treat and a delight, and I'm kind of glad I didn't play it on release. I will say that. No shame to those who did. I bet you still had a good time too, but I'm almost certain that they've smoothed out a number of issues since the game's release. Letting it simmer for a couple of years, I think, was the right choice for me in particular. So, but it's truly a really incredible game, to the point where I'm considering playing it again, which I don't really do with games. I don't really like playing games a second time. It's not mod support, and so it's like really great. Can't say enough good things. This is a recommend from me for anybody who thinks that this type of game might be up their alley. So and honestly, even if you don't think it is, because it's not up my inventory and UI mods, and also, again, I actually thought the inventory was pretty fucking good. For a Larian game, I thought the inventory was, like, good. And I definitely could see some value in some UI mods to help with better communication, clear information about what resources people have available. What was the one? There's, what was it? Somebody's like class resource just doesn't show up in their spell book. for some reason. I don't remember which one it is. But yeah, I think UI would be a thing in particular, but the inventory I actually thought was like pretty fucking good. I had very few complaints about the inventory. The sorting worked well, better than it ever has. Putting stuff in bags worked really well for organization. I wish you could rename bags. I think if you could rename bags, that would be cool. So you could be like, this is where I'm putting all this shit, you know? But no, I genuinely didn't have any complaints. Oh! What the fuck was the ice arrow for? Or what were the ice parts for? Did I miss one? Do you know? Because you said to keep them, and I kept them, but then I was missing a thing to combine them. Yeah. I mean, I could just look that up myself, too. I know there's... Yes, Yep, I know there's 3 pieces, because I said I tried to craft it and I was missing a piece. Makes an ice staff, added cold damage and chill. Okay. All 3 pieces were in the Underdark. Fuck. Damn, okay. Well, probably wouldn't have compared to the late game equipment then, so it doesn't matter. But interesting. So, is what it is. Wow. Yeah, okay. Let's call it there. I think that's a good spot to stop. I think I've communicated the thoughts and ideas that I had pretty effectively, as much as I can. It's kind of hard to organize your thoughts after 250 hours of a game. But yeah, it's really good. It's really good. It's definitely, I think it misses the mark of masterpiece for me personally, and I don't think it's perfect by any means. It's hard. I don't think I've ever played a perfect game, but it is very incredible, and it is definitely it's probably a top 20 for me. It's probably a top 20 all-time game for me. So, don't ask me to make that list. I don't think I can. Let's just say it's top 20 even if it's actually top 40 because I can't choose. So, all right. Baldur's Gate 3, thank you for everything. It was a lot, and there's more, and maybe we'll see it someday. But that is it.